apply for a green card, but you're confused about the difference between consular processing and adjustment of status? If yes, watch this video. I'm Cecily Clements, founder of Root Migration. I help undocumented immigrants achieve lawful status through consular processing without fear or confusion. In this video, I'll be talking about the differences between adjustment of status and consular processing. It can be confusing because both types of applications can result in lawful permanent resident status or a green card, but they really are quite different, and it's important to understand the differences and know which one you qualify for before you get started with your immigration case. The information I'm providing in this video is general in nature and does not pertain to your specific circumstances. There are a lot of differences between adjustment of status and consular processing that are quite important. So if you have any questions about your specific circumstances, I highly recommend and in fact implore you to talk about your case with a competent and experienced immigration attorney. If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with me, check out the link below. You can go to my website and read all about me. From there, you can click on a link that will take you to a questionnaire that you fill out, and you pay the $300 consultation fee, and then you can book a consult on my calendar. I'd love to help you out with your situation if you'd like to talk to me about it. Okay, so the first main difference between consular processing and adjustment of status is that consular processing happens outside of the United States, and adjustment of status happens inside of the United States. So the term consular processing specifically refers to going to a consulate or U.S. embassy, which are located around the world and outside of the United States, to apply for a visa. Once you attend your visa interview at the consulate and you are granted a visa and it's put into your passport, then you board a plane or travel by car or whatever to the United States, either the physical border or to an airport, and then you are inspected and admitted into the United States. And so that whole process is what we talk about, is what we're referring to when we say the words consular processing. Adjustment of status, on the other hand, happens in the United States. So that can be just filling out forms and filing them in the mail with a immigration office, and then you get a response in the mail, like an approval with your green card in the mail. Or it could be also attending an interview at a local immigration office near where you live. Either way, all of the processing with adjustment of status happens in the United States. A second major difference between consular processing and adjustment of status is that consular processing can also be for non-immigrant visas, things like student visas, tourist visas, and the like. In this channel, and what I deal with specifically in my practice, are what we call immigrant visas. So if you consular process and get an immigrant visa when you eventually travel to the United States and you pass through immigration and you're inspected and admitted into the United States, you will get a green card in the mail. But consular processing is with any type of visa, whether it's immigrant visa or non-immigrant visa. By contrast, adjustment of status is always to get a green card or lawful permanent resident status in the United States. I know the idea of consular processing can be really scary, but it is a viable option for certain people. And I want anyone who is considering this process to not be too afraid and talk to an attorney and see what your options are, because I have successfully consular processed a lot of individuals. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help you out and respond in any way I can, or do any additional videos to address any concerns you might have. Okay, so the third thing to know and understand about consular processing is that you do give up certain rights when you leave the United States. When you attend a visa interview abroad, you do not have a right to have an attorney with you in that interview. And in fact, a lot of times people who are doing this based on a marriage or based on a family relationship, even the petitioner, your spouse or the person who's filing the petition for you, is not allowed into the interview. So that can be really scary and intimidating. You do have to do it by yourself. However, I can say, having done this for many, many years and talking to a lot of different clients after the interview itself is usually pretty straightforward and easy. It's not necessarily a long interview. You're waiting to get to talk to the consular officer for a lot longer than you actually are talking to the consular officer. Again, it's all about understanding the process, being prepared, and having the right guidance and advice to know what to expect when you go. But you do need to understand that leaving the United States, you do give up your right to have an attorney present with you, and you also give up certain due process rights that are protected in the Constitution. So what that means is, if the visa is denied, your options are much more limited than if you were doing the process of adjustment of status here in the United States. So those are important things to consider when you're engaging in a consular processing case. You need to understand that you do give up certain fundamental rights when you leave the United States and apply for a visa at a consulate abroad. Now, with adjustment of status, the opposite is true. You have the full access to due process. If there's a problem in the case or some kind of erroneous decision, you can usually access the court system in the United States to try to rectify the problem. Also, you have the right to have an attorney present with you during the interview. If you're called for an interview and you're interviewed in a local office by an immigration officer, you can have your attorney present. So in general, if somebody is eligible to adjust status, that's usually the preferred method. However, like I said previously, there are just some people that are not eligible to adjust status, and consular processing is really a viable option if you understand the law and you understand your eligibility. So again, it's extremely important that you consult with a competent and experienced immigration attorney that can evaluate your case and let you know if consular processing is a good option for you. The final main difference between consular processing and adjustment of status is that when you adjust status in the United States, you usually get to have a work permit while your case is pending. Again, you're usually filling out a bunch of forms and filing them with an immigration office, and included with all those forms that you can fill out is a work authorization, or what we call a work permit application. And so it's a huge advantage because while you're waiting for your green card to hopefully be approved, you actually have a work authorization that allows you to be in the United States working with a valid social security number. By contrast, if you're consular processing, there's no work permit allowed while the case is pending, which is really frustrating. But the way you need to think about it is consular processing is basically assuming or contemplating that you're not in the United States, that you're in your home country or country of origin, and you're waiting for a visa to become available so that you can go to the consulate and apply for a visa. Whereas adjustment of status, it's understood and known that the person is in the United States and they qualify to get status here without having to leave. So that means that when you're consular processing, you start, and you're here, let's say you're here in the United States and you're undocumented, you start documents, you file the initial I-130 petition, so you initiate the process. The good news is there's no enforcement against you as a result of that. It's not like you file the petition and then you're in danger of getting picked up by immigration and deported. That doesn't happen. At the same time, they're not giving you any benefit for the fact that you're here. So you essentially have to wait the entire process out until you travel to your home country or whatever country you're going to process in, attend the visa interview, obtain the visa, return to the United States, and then you get the green card in the mail. At the point at which you have a green card, a work authorization is obsolete and moot because a green card allows you to work in the United States. So that's one other unfortunate disadvantage of doing a consular processing case, is that while you're waiting for your case to resolve and you're waiting to get that interview, in the other country, you don't have any work authorization in the meantime. You basically stay status quo, undocumented. You're not going to be enforced against. They're not going to come after you and try and deport you unless there's some other reason for them to do that, like some serious criminal activity that you're engaging in, or you're already in deportation proceedings or something. As a general matter, you're not enforced against, but you're also not given any benefit. Okay, so I hope this video helped clarify a little bit the differences between consular processing and adjustment of status. It can be confusing, like I said in the beginning of the video, because both processes can lead to a green card, lawful permanent resident status in the United States, but they're really quite different. They're very different. It's super important to understand which process you qualify for and the implications for the different processes, because like I've outlined in this video, consular processing, you give up some rights. There could also be waivers, grounds of inadmissibility that apply to you if you have to leave the country. It's really, really critical that you get proper immigration advice before you engage in any kind of consular processing case. So once again, I invite you, if you're interested, check out the link below. You can check out my website, click on the book a call button. It will ask you to answer a pretty long series of questions. But it's information that I need to properly evaluate your case. And then you pay $300 for a consultation, and then you're directed to my calendar and you can just book a consultation with me. I'd be happy to answer your questions and help you out with your case and let you know if consular processing is what you have to do because you're not eligible to adjust status. I'll let you know if I think it's a good option for you. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or you have any other video ideas or things that you'd like to know and understand from me, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.